Alright, Travis Wayne Goodsell and the Mormon Sex Ed series. This is part 2, I guess, even though the first was an introduction. I'm using the Bible to show you that sex is the commandment from God and that it's okay to expose ourselves as exhibitionists. Obviously, there's got to be some controls. But this is where our Supreme Court has stepped in to interfere. The Supreme Court decision involves 3 areas of criteria necessary to determine whether something is obscene. In Utah, they think they know better, and so instead of obscene, they refer to pornography as lewd. It's mostly for human behavior, though, when humans expose themselves as if in a magazine method of exposing oneself. And so pornography is the word used in Utah. Pornography, child porn, and that type of thing. Whereas human exhibitionism is considered lewd. And again, as I showed you in the first video, it's not lewd. To call it lewd is body shaming. Because lewd is an adjective. It's not a standard measurement, such as 3 feet tall. What other forms of standard measurement are there? Wearing the color red. Even though red is an adjective for the noun color, it's a standardized, it's a recognized color throughout the society, as except for those who are colorblind. They don't see red; they see gray. But for emotional opinion adjectives, lewd falls into that category. Obscene falls into that category. That should have been the driving force of the Supreme Court decision. They instead mask it in the 3rd question. So the first one, they put whether the average person applying contemporary community standards would find that the work, taken as a whole, appeals to the prurient interests. So again, they appeal to those who want to be witch hunters, literally witch hunters, to say, "Oh, porn, burn 'em!" And so, yeah, they say, our community does not approve of this material. As Utah County, for example, takes or covers up all the women's magazines, because women do the shopping here in Utah, men are working, and the women take children with them to go shopping. So women's magazines need to be protected from children because they're dangerous. They are harmful material to our children. Well, somebody think of the children. An old Simpsons flashback. And so again, this first one allows for this opinionated decision-making process to dominate. But then they go on with number 2. Whether the work depicts or describes in an offensive way, again, offensive is an opinionated adjective. I'm offended. Sexual conduct or excretory functions, as specifically defined by applicable state law. In other words, XXX movies. If you understand the difference between an X rating, a 2X rating, and a 3X rating. I loved it when I went to the temple and would do baptisms for the dead, and I'd go up to the counter to get the baptismal clothes, and the elderly ladies would ask me what size I need. Oh, XXX, please. And they grew up during the days where XXX was a thing that they were shocked and horrified by. So here I am saying XXX instead of 3X. Alright, so yeah, they don't want us to show XXX material, as it's indicating here. According to state law, though, again, they're allowing Utah to be different from everywhere else. And again, they're allowing a confusion as you move from state to state in regards to all the laws, but specifically this one in this case. The syllabus of the case mentions only sexual conduct, but excretory functions are explicitly mentioned on page 25 of the majority opinion. And then 3. Now, this is the one where the Supreme Court hides that this whole issue brought up before the court is ridiculous nonsense and all Christian fundamentalists need to chill out. Whether the work, taken as a whole, lacks serious literary, artistic, bang, 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 political or scientific value. They left out educational value. But it was understood as educational as well. But that's how the porn industry got away with it, because all they needed to do was have a doctor in the front of the video saying, "Now make sure you are safe in using contraception." And thus it's now scientific. Yeah, artistic is all they needed to focus on, because artistic destroys the first 2 counts, the first 2 questions, because everything is artistic. Whether you like it or not, everything is artistic. Remember, opinion adjectives are used for art, whether an art is good or bad. That's an opinion adjective. That's obscene. Doesn't matter. That's your opinion. And people get frustrated with that. As The Simpsons perfectly illustrated the contradictions and hypocrisy that's involved. This is the problem that Mormons need to chill out about. Correct sex education needs to be, don't be ashamed of your body, don't shame others for their bodies, don't try to lock up your parents for exposing themselves, or mothers who are breastfeeding in public, or anything like that. There's nothing criminal. Nothing criminal. What is criminal is if you kidnap a woman or a girl and hold her hostage and then take pictures of her. It doesn't even matter if she's undressed or dressed. Just the fact that she's been kidnapped and held hostage, you are now exploiting that girl by taking pictures of her. That's the difference. If people are adults, because adults are able to make their own decisions without a parent, and they are not economically extorted, they can't pay for rent unless they perform porn, or they're not kidnapped. If it's all, yeah, I just want to do this for fun, there's nothing wrong with it. And our society has really gone off the deep end thanks to Mormon and religious fundamentalism. And that's the Supreme Court law. They threw in artistic, and therefore anything goes. And yet there's still paranoia, and there will always be paranoia, because we're not educated properly about sexuality and our bodies. We fear it, and we are ashamed, and we then lash out at others who aren't as ashamed as we are, making false accusations and blaming them and body shaming and etc., etc. I mean, the whole nonsense of the magazine covers. Oh, they're giving ideas to our young girls that they need to throw up in order to look like them on the magazine covers. Seriously? No, that's not the reason. It's because they're body shamed by you, who are telling them that they're trying to look like the magazine covers. Nobody was trying to look like Barbie when Barbie first came out. It was when people started complaining that women were trying to look like Barbie that people tried to look like Barbie. Alright, I need to stop.